Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today, and we're talking about Cyberpunk 2077. Outside of our Phantom Liberty and 2.0 review, it's been a while since we've just sat down and talked about Cyberpunk, and it seems like this may be the last time for a long while. We already know that after Phantom Liberty, the updates are done, but it looks like CD Projekt Red is gearing up for the next phase of Cyberpunk 2077, and they're capping things off with some really impressive numbers that show the comeback is complete. If you thought Edge Runners was doing some crazy numbers, if you thought that update, I think it was 1.5 or 1.6 coming out around that time, was doing some crazy numbers, you haven't seen anything yet. Cyberpunk is a massive success and has achieved the impossible after a absolutely busted launch. These numbers are crazy, and we also have plans for the future that we're going to get into. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here and you're into the occasional Cyberpunk video, you're in the right place. Please do consider subscribing. And now a quick word from today's sponsor. The following video is brought to you by Warhammer 40k Darktide. Warhammer 40k Darktide is just released on Xbox and Xbox Game Pass alongside its biggest update to the game yet. You may remember I reviewed this game and I felt it was a few changes away from being something great, and I feel like this update is what the doctor ordered. First and foremost, every class has gotten a complete overhaul with a brand new talent tree system allowing players to create different builds to fit their playstyle. When you mix that in with massive amounts of hordes and fighting alongside your friends, it's a good time because you get to flush out your build while your buddy may focus on something else. Each class now has one talent tree featuring 3 main pets. So there's a total of 24 abilities, 12 new passive talents with up to 30 talent points to spend. So you have a lot of things to do in this game as you run through missions, you run through hordes, time in, time out. Warhammer has always been an intimidating franchise to get into, but this style of game is great for those looking to get into this series. So what are you waiting for? If this sounds great to you, go ahead and download Warhammer 40k Darktide on Game Pass. Whether you're on PC or Xbox, the game is also available on Steam. Let's begin at the top with sales numbers. Now, I know we're kind of looking at companies' profits at this point and going, oh, look how much money they made, but it is a testament to the popularity of this game and that underneath the myriad of issues that it launched with, that there was something, as I've always said, that was legitimately amazing about this game that brought people in to the point of forgiving them, to the point of saying, all right, fine, reluctantly, I'm going to buy this. Just how many people? Let's start off with Phantom Liberty, which just came out, and it's already sold 3 million copies, they said, in the first week it released. These are extremely impressive numbers for an expansion, by the way. An expansion that's dropping in the thick of a lot of great RPGs. Starfield is here. You have Baldur's Gate 3 here. You also have other kind of RPG style titles like Lies of P. There are so many games coming out right now. And for the expansion to a game that has gradually crawled its way back into the good graces of fans to push 3 million sales, now more than that, in 1 week is incredible, especially because we always hear how the expansions and the DLC do not as well, but with Cyberpunk having such a large install base, I think this was easy money for CD Projekt Red. Just how big is that install base? Well, the latest number that's been revealed is Cyberpunk 2077 has sold 25 million copies. And perhaps what's an even more crazy number here is across Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty, The Witcher 1, 2, and 3, you can see here how many copies have sold across the entire company. And they're talking about Project Orion, the future of the series in general. There's a lot going on in this company, and they are thriving right now. Despite it all, they are thriving. It's a cautionary tale, of course, of rushing your game release. These numbers potentially could have been higher if they nailed it, if they waited and then nailed it. That's definitely true. But it's also a story, and it's not one I'm advocating for, of no game is truly out of it. I think of something like Redfall, which I think is beyond redemption, but you look at how much they've overhauled the core of Cyberpunk with Update 2.0, just ripping the guts out and putting more of a focus on the things that I think Edge Runners honed in on and making it more of this futurist-focused RPG and how dramatically that's changed. So no game is truly out of it, and that is the other takeaway from all of this. With all the systems that have been added in 2.0, I do worry a little bit about CD Projekt Red's future. They are switching to a brand new engine for their next games, and I think the Red engine did give them some issues with Cyberpunk 2077, but also the way that conversations and cutscenes are delivered in Cyberpunk. I don't know if we're going to lose that with the engine swap. I know that Unreal can handle all these things. I personally work in Unreal, not 5, but 4. But I know Unreal can handle these things. But with the tool sets that have been built for Cyberpunk 2077, right, your car combat even finally being added, the quick hacking, all this stuff is there. You don't just drag and drop that into an engine, right? That has to be built up from the ground up, to my understanding, which would naturally take a really long time. And when you're doing this in a new studio in Boston, and on top of that, you're kickstarting this new Witcher game, you're investing in a smaller company to do another Witcher game. There's a lot going on as they're trying to do multiple AAA games at once, where CD Projekt Red is betting big on themselves. And if they succeed here, they're going to thrive beyond anything that we could imagine. But there's a big asterisk next to that. Again, I don't know if there's any truth to what's going on with this Oblivion remake, that apparently they're dragging and dropping the original project of Oblivion into Unreal Engine 5, and they're able to update certain things while maintaining the core project in there. I don't know if there's something to that these developers have found out, where maybe you could get Cyberpunk 2077 running in Unreal Engine 5 and using that tool set there. That doesn't sound sensible to me based off what I know about game development, but just based off that rumor, I have to open up that avenue of the conversation. But still, the story is Cyberpunk 2077, despite it all, is a massive success, and CD Projekt Red is about to move into a major point in transition. So salute to the team for sticking with it, as I think Phantom Liberty is fantastic. One of the best games to come out this year, or I guess expansions, whatever you want to call it. And you owe it to yourself to give it a look, because it takes everything that you love and wanted in Cyberpunk and puts it right in there. It's incredible. Now, on to other news. This wasn't it. They're also announcing a partnership with Anonymous Content to develop a live action project. They describe here the new project is at an early development stage and is currently commenced searching for a screenwriter to tell a brand new story set in the world of Cyberpunk 2077. Garrett Kemble, David Levine, Ryan Schwartz, and Bardoros will produce on behalf of Anonymous Content alongside Charlie Scully. Anonymous Content's AC Studios will serve as the studio on the project. The project will be developed in close collaboration with the Cyberpunk 2077 creative team. More information about the project will be made available as the partnership between Anonymous Content and CD Projekt Red progresses. That's about it beyond just a little history for this company, Anonymous Content, which personally I've never heard of before this. But here's the reality. In CD Projekt Red, we trust with this type of stuff. Look, they are the ones who really, I'd say, were the first to succeed in bringing their big games to a new market through television, through anime. We saw The Witcher do really well with season 1. I know since then things have gone off the rails with The Witcher, but I'm not going to be a prisoner of the moment here. Let's remember the numbers that The Witcher 3 was doing were bigger than anything it had previously done, through all the incredible reviews, through all the success, the amazing expansions. The Witcher 3 saw the biggest player count it ever had when the show's first season had dropped. So CD Projekt Red hit something there that now many companies are following suit for. You're seeing everyone announce TV shows. PlayStation partnered up with HBO for The Last of Us. We know that Fallout is doing a show over on Amazon, and so on and so forth. There are dozens of examples. And we also saw the insane success that was Cyberpunk 2077 Edge Runners, where that is many people's favorite anime of all time. I mean, it was absurd how good it was. And it also shined a light on what the game did kind of wrong to many people, that in this sort of 4 to 5 hour runtime, people had a better understanding of the world of Cyberpunk, and it captured the elements of Cyberpunk best in that rather than the main story, which I kind of disagree with. Like, I think Edge Runners is an amazing story, but I also feel like Cyberpunk captures a different, more identity crisis focused story, and like it's cool that both can exist in this world. And I also think after 2.0, they take a lot of what's in Edge Runners and inject it into the game, so that's kind of been ameliorated in my eyes. But yeah, I trust CD Projekt Red, even though anytime I see live action in video games, I'm like, oh, brother, nope, I'm okay. But they've proven that I should give them the benefit of the doubt. I remember when they were working on the Witcher series and I saw the Nilfgaardian costumes, I was really down on what they were doing there. And the show, at least in the first season, came out pretty good. It was a little confusing if you didn't know what was happening with Ciri and Geralt, and like the time periods there could get a little hazy, but otherwise it came out way better than we thought. Now, a little bit of a different story. So continuing on, we have a couple more tidbits here to wrap up. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition rating reportedly surfaces online. Now, I have scoured Twitter. I've seen multiple sites reporting on this. I went to the Peggy site myself because that's where it was spotted. I cannot find this, but it's being said that it was there and then quickly taken down. This would not surprise me or probably anyone out there. This is, again, easy money for a company. Hey, we have the finished products here, here, and here. Let's put them all together in one final SKU for the fence riders out there. And when it's inevitably on sale, they have the complete version there. And this is effectively our, legacy product that people will buy in perpetuity. It's how the games industry rolls now is, hey, we got this game, we have all this DLC, all these updates, let's put it all together. Hopefully for the game preservers out there like myself, all of it on disc and sell it once more. So it's, again, this easy recommendation where you don't got to tell people, buy Cyberpunk, then buy Phantom Liberty. There's not much to track down there, but now you can just tell them, get the Ultimate Edition. So this wouldn't surprise me if it's real at all. And this is coming in as CD Projekt Red is beginning to wrap up the updates coming into Cyberpunk 2077. They just dropped patch 2.01, where you can see here, it's some Phantom Liberty specific changes, just a lot of bug fixes, performance fixes, quest fixes, all that kind of stuff there. Nothing was tremendously broken in Phantom Liberty. Trust me, you would have heard about it by now if CD Projekt Red was running it back on a buggy release. But yeah, nothing in the terms of major updates are coming. No more new mechanics, major changes. They've really, I think, adjusted properly to all of the criticism that has come the game's way and hung with it a insane amount, more than I ever expected. After the game's first release and it was going on sale for $10 at Walmart, which is something worth considering when you see the 25 million copies sold. Like, this was almost a bargain bin. I'll buy this, shelve this, and wait for them to update it kind of game. But yeah, I'm really glad that CD Projekt Red hung on to it far longer than I expected, because the updates that have come in have fixed pretty much any problem I've seen people have with the game. And now it's hopefully onward and upward from here when it comes to a potential sequel. Otherwise, adding major mechanics is over with. They're just doing patchwork now to make sure everything runs squeaky clean. And so that is what's going on in the world of Cyberpunk. You'll see here that they've, again, done the impossible. I thought after Edge Runners, maybe they had peaked. I didn't know if Phantom Liberty would almost be this quiet sort of thing that we're all enjoying, like maybe 1 million sales, and we're all like, it's really good, and many people still feel snake bitten, or had they truly won the people back? And so this feels more like what we knew and loved about CD Projekt Red, where they accomplished all of this without microtransactions, without some type of multiplayer component. I imagine with how game development's going and their desire to have multiple AAA games in development, that they're going to do either more mobile games like that Witcher Pokemon Go clone, or they're going to do some type of multiplayer thing at some point. I just feel like they would be foolish with all of their single-player AAA focus to not have an ongoing revenue stream, although I would be for just skipping all of that. I just think that business sensibilities are going to kick in and they're going to need some type of revenue driver somewhere. So that's how I'm looking at things. But ladies and gentlemen, Cyberpunk 2077 has achieved the impossible. What do you make of all of this, from the sales to the patches to the Ultimate Edition to the live action show? Let me know down below. Other than that, be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. A big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the heck out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.